The way you talk to your child about feelings right now while co-parenting with a manipulative, narcissistic, or high conflict ex will shape something that lasts. It shapes whether they grow up trusting their inner voice or second guessing it. A loyalty bind doesn't just confuse a child about parents. It confuses a child about themselves. So if you've been thinking, I don't want to make this worse, but I also can't let this keep happening, you're in the right place. If you're listening to this and thinking, yes, this is us, and I need help applying this to my specific child, I offer strategy sessions. We'll look at what's happening in your co-parenting dynamic, what patterns you're seeing with your child, and what support would actually move the needle for you, so you can see whether my program is the right fit and the right next step for you. It's not therapy. It's a step-by-step approach to protecting your child's emotional development while parenting alongside a toxic, narcissistic, emotionally abusive co-parent. If you want that support, you can book a strategy session using the link in the description. Okay, take a breath and let's keep going. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the pressure off of these conversations so your child doesn't shut down with you and doesn't spiral. I'll give you a few exact phrases that you can start using today, and you'll learn how to build the kind of emotional safety that helps your child trust themselves again. I want you to hear this from someone who's seen this from both sides. I'm a doctor of child development, and I specialize in nurturing emotional resilience in children, especially in asymmetric co-parenting dynamics where one parent is emotionally unsafe or manipulative. And I'm also a bonus parent. So I've watched this dynamic up close, not just in theory. There have been moments in my home where my bonus child has repeated adult-sounding language, and I remember feeling that split second where I can either react like a normal hurt human or I can lead. So I paused. I got calm, and I said, "That's not kind, but my heart is strong. I love you no matter what, and you're safe here." And what mattered most in that moment wasn't correcting the wording. It was teaching safety. It was showing them, you don't have to be in the middle here. You don't have to manage my emotions. You're not going to lose love because you're carrying something from the other house. And honestly, the fact that they felt safe enough to even say it was a win, because it means that this home was safe. The child didn't fear my reaction or believe that they needed to take care of my emotions. It was a safe landing. That's the energy that we're building today. All right, let's talk about how to have these feeling conversations in a way that builds your child's inner compass, so they learn what safe feels like in their body and what unsafe feels like, even if they can't put it into words yet. The biggest mistake that emotionally safe parents make is trying to process the feelings conversation too fast, usually right after an exchange. And it makes total sense why you do it. It's the energy of urgency. Hey, tell me what happened. What did they say? Are you okay? Are you mad at me? And I get it. You're trying to protect your child. But in a loyalty bind, that urgency can land like this. Say the right thing, or someone's feelings get hurt. So the kids do one of two things. They go quiet, or they go into a script mode. They repeat whatever line keeps them safest. And that's why it backfires. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because their nervous system is braced. So here's the reframe that will save you so much stress. With kids under 12, especially kids living in emotional pressure, feelings come before facts. Their nervous system processes first. Words come second. Which means that when your child comes home dysregulated, withdrawn, overly critical, suddenly loyal to the other parent, or using adult-sounding phrases, your job isn't to fact check in the moment. Your job is to restore the emotional safety, because safety is what makes the truth possible later, not pressure. Let me say that again. Safety creates disclosure. Pressure creates shutdown or performance, and neither one helps your child develop their inner voice. So before you ask what happened over there, I want you to start with what's happening in here, inside their body, because once their nervous system settles, the right words and the right feelings have somewhere to land. So what do you do instead of questions? You anchor. Anchoring is when your words help your child's body feel safer. When you communicate, you're not in trouble, I'm not fragile, you don't have to manage me, you are safe. And I want to give you a few anchor phrases that are simple enough to remember even when you're activated. The first one is, I'm really glad you told me. This is huge because it rewards openness, not accuracy. When manipulation is in the air, your child might not be able to separate what they heard from what they believe, from what they're allowed to say. So, if you only respond well when they say the right thing, you accidentally train them to hide the messy things. But if you say, I'm really glad you told me, you're teaching them that talking to me is safe. The second phrase, that sounds like a big feeling. This is how you validate without agreeing with the storyline. You're not saying, yes, that's true. You're saying, I see what this feels like inside you. Third, you don't have to figure this out right now. This line removes your child's sense of responsibility from adult tension. It gives them permission to be a kid again. And I'll add a fourth, because it's powerful and it's protective. My heart is strong. Why this works is simple. It removes the child's job of protecting you. Kids in toxic dynamics often learn, if I say the wrong thing, someone will fall apart. So when you calmly communicate, my heart is strong, and show that you can handle this, your body unclenches. Now, let's put this into a real life moment. Your child says, I'm not supposed to tell you what happened over there. And I want to name what this can do to your body. Your brain immediately goes into panic, to threat, to what are they hiding? So you feel the urge to ask 10 questions right now. But in asymmetric co-parenting dynamics, secrecy language creates anxiety in kids because it teaches them the truth is dangerous. It turns their feelings into something that they have to manage alone. So your job in that moment is not interrogation, it's safety. You anchor first. You can say, thank you for telling me, you're not in trouble. You don't have to figure this out alone. And in our home, you're allowed to talk about your feelings. And then you stop. Because if you chase them with a bunch of questions, their nervous system often hears, uh-oh, I did something wrong. But if you stay calm, you're teaching something much deeper. You're safe to tell me the truth here. You're safe to have feelings here. You're not responsible for adult feelings. And over time, that's what leads to more disclosure without you turning your child into a messenger. By the way, if you're listening to this and thinking, I love these phrases, but I freeze in the moment, and my kid knows exactly how to push my buttons, I want you to know that's exactly the kind of thing we work on inside my program. The strategy session is the first step. It's a clarity and fit call where we look at your co-parenting dynamic, what's showing up with your child after exchanges, and what kind of support would actually help you the most. So you can decide if my program is the right fit. It's not therapy. It's a practical, skills-based approach to building emotional resilience in your child while parenting alongside a toxic or narcissistic co-parent. If you want to explore that, you can book a strategy session using the link in the description. Now, we hit the part that feels simple but changes everything long-term. You remove loyalty pressure in your home because your child cannot develop a clear inner voice while they feel responsible for adult emotions. So in our home, we use permission language. Not once, not in one big talk, regularly, especially after exchanges, holidays, or anything that's emotionally loaded. Here are the 3 lines that I want you to say out loud. The first is, it's okay to have fun there. This is a relief sentence because some kids come home prickly, not because something terrible happened, but because they had fun and they're terrified that you'll be hurt. So you make joy safe. The second one is, you don't have to choose anything here. This tells your child, this house is not a test. It tells them, you're not responsible for my emotions. It tells them that you don't have to manage adult tension in this space. Third, you get to love both parents. And I want to be really clear. This is not you endorsing harmful behavior. This is you protecting your child from feeling like they have to split themselves in half to survive. Because kids often feel, even if they can't explain it, if one parent is bad, then half of me is bad. So this line gives breathing room. And over time, without you forcing it, discernment grows. Because a child who isn't pressured is a child who can feel. And a child who can feel can tell the difference between safe and unsafe, steady and chaotic, kind and tricky. Now that we've removed some of the loyalty pressure, here's what we're really building. Your child's inner compass, their ability to notice, what does safe feel like in my body? And what does unsafe feel like? Because kids in loyalty binds learn to override their own signals. They learn, Don't feel what you feel what keeps the peace. So we teach the opposite. We teach your body gives you clues. And this doesn't have to be complicated. With young kids, you can say things like, safe people help your body feel calm. Tricky people make your body feel swirly or tight. Safe people don't use anger to control you. And then you give them a tool that they can use in real life. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to say, I'm not sure. You're allowed to tell a safe adult if something feels confusing. And here's the key. You're not asking them to judge the other parent. You're not saying your other parent is bad. You're teaching them to listen inwards, to notice pressure, to notice fear, to notice confusion, because that's how kids learn to protect themselves long term, by staying connected to their inner voice. And if you're thinking, but what if my child still repeats the other parent's script? That doesn't mean this isn't working. It means the pressure is still present. Your job is to keep making your home the place where their inner compass can grow. If you take nothing else from this, take this. Your child's inner voice is built through repeated emotional experiences, not one perfect conversation. So if you're sitting there feeling like you've already messed up some of these moments, take a breath. You're building something over time. Every time you choose anchoring over extracting, every time you choose steadiness over defensiveness, every time you remove the loyalty bind inside your home, you're teaching your child your feelings make sense. Your body gives you information. You can trust yourself. And that is the long game. If you want help making this specific, because your child is coming home with very specific phrases, specific false claims, and specific emotional pressure after exchanges, I'd love to support you. Book a strategy session. We'll get clear on whether or not my program is the right fit to give you the tools and step-by-step support to build emotional resilience in your child while co-parenting alongside a toxic or narcissistic co-parent. The link is in the description. And if nobody else has said this to you lately, you're not too sensitive. You're reading the room. You're reading your child. And with the right support and the right tools, you can make your home the place where their inner voice gets stronger, not quieter.